Hey guys, I'm really excited to be here tonight with Andrew Coronis, the Managing Director. I'm Karuna Dimelow, COO of the Coronis Group. This is the first time we've ever done anything like this. We're wanting to answer all the questions that we can tonight. We're going through them as most voted for, and we're going to get through as many as we can. The reason that we decided to embark on this is that we look at great companies around the world, and we saw that Airbnb did this, and we thought what a great idea to actually create better relationships with our customers, hear what you guys are looking for, and make renting, buying and selling easier, and that's what we want to do. So there's been a lot of challenging questions, there's been a lot of things that we've learned about ourselves and about our business, which we really appreciate. We've had over 141 questions, which is so exciting. We just want to say thank you for getting those to us. So I just want to hand it over to Andrew, which is going to introduce himself for the start of the night.
Hello everybody, this is fantastic. You've got to think of myself, I was born in 1970, a long time before this technology came around. So for us to be able to sit here and get feedback on our business, thank you for those who gave questions to us, and to give some education to you guys is really empowering for me and Karuna and the whole team here. So tonight, I know time is valuable. I value time greatly, and I'm sure yours is valuable. We aim to give you something that you wouldn't ordinarily know, and hopefully you can grow from learning from us at the Coronis Group, because we've certainly grown from you. So a little bit about myself, I suppose, to start with. Can I blabber for a while, Karuna?
I think we've got a little bit of time.
Yeah, yes. Sure. So look, this is meant to be an informal medium. You'll get the opportunity to ask questions. We won't get them all through them, as Karuna said, but we will endeavour to get through all the good ones and all the bad ones.
All the most voted ones. We're going through the most voted ones.
Is that what it is? Yeah. And look, that doesn't mean that that's good for our business, by the way. Some of the questions are really challenging for me as a managing director who's got his name above the door, because I wear this company heart and soul on myself 24 hours a day. And some of the questions hurt, quite frankly, but we will grow and we'll get better from them, so we thank you for that.
And we want to be completely transparent, and we've obviously got every question that anyone's answered that we want to work on getting better in our business.
Yeah. So, look, a little bit about the business. It was started 30 years ago, I started in the business 30 years ago. My father started in real estate in many years before that. He's still with the business today. And I started in 1987 when I finished school, and we grew a little office at Stafford, which we still have today, which is a much bigger office than what it used to be. And now we have many locations around southeast Queensland. So we operate from rentals, sales, financial services, which include broking and financial planning. We have a conveyancing section. We have a full-time maintenance division, and we're expanding all our offerings to our clients, because the idea is that we want to make it easier for you to buy, rent and sell. That's basically what we're here to do for our community.
Yeah. So as Andrew said, we're obviously going to get off onto the questions that are the most voted. There could be hiccups along the way, we might make some mistakes. Sometimes we don't want to slip out any swear words, but if that happens, it could happen, because we're very passionate about this business, and we want to obviously be as authentic to you guys as we possibly can. If we don't get to your question tonight, we obviously are live, that we'll be taking some questions from the audiences that are watching tonight. Andrew will personally respond to you by the end of the week to make sure that you get your answer to your question, and you can also go on our live chat, which is on 7 days a week, to answer your questions as well. We're available all the time to make sure that we get those out there. So you ready to start?
Let's go.
Okay, awesome. So question one,
yes,
Andrew, is from iMan.
Yes.
Most voted for question.
Okay. How many votes did he have?
26.
Great.
26.
Yep.
So back in your time, or back in the...
Be careful how you say that. Yeah. It is still my time. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Back in the time where there was no customer relationships manager or RP data, how did you do your daily prospecting and expand the network that we've currently got today?
Yeah, sure. For those of you who aren't in the real estate business, I presume is a real estate salesperson somewhere, either for us or for somewhere else. But look, it's essentially no different to what it is today. Talking to people. There you go. Real estate's a people business. It's got the commodity we trade in and help people with their dreams, with buying and selling, is the product. But we have to look at the fact that we're dealing with people's emotions. We're dealing with something that's very valuable to people, and it all revolves around a person. So quite frankly, in a lot of ways, I wish there wasn't the technology we had in real estate. This is me going back to my 1970s roots here. But I think so many people try and circumvent the real value what an agent can deliver to the community, whether in sales or in property management, and that's helping people with their problems when buying, selling and renting. And the only way you can do that is to talk to them.
Yep.
And you then create customers. If you've got good customer service, you create great clients. If you create great clients, they'll come back to you. So in essence, how did I do it? I talked to a lot of people. And for those of you who don't understand, prospecting in a real estate career is a very important aspect. You have to find people who are thinking about selling, if that's it. You have to create business. And what a lot of people don't understand is, and for me anyway, prospecting is a way of life. It's not actually, I'm going to prospect for an hour here or an hour there. It is, I'm going to be talking to as many people as I can and asking them how I can help them in the real estate space.
Yeah.
So, in essence, how did I do it? I spoke to a lot of people, but I didn't foresee that I was prospecting. I always like to think that I was helping people in the real estate transaction.
Yeah, so getting belly to belly with as many people as you possibly can and touching them, their lives in a way that they wanted to use you.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2. This is an interesting one. So this is from Tossers.
Tossers. That's an unusual name.
It's an unusual name.
I wonder who would name their kid Tosser. It's unusual. But anyway.
I don't know, 20 votes on this one though.
20 votes.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Why was it that when you had a house I wanted to buy, I could not get a hold of an agent?
Yeah.
But now that the time has passed, I'm emailed every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good question. Generally what that comes down to is poor customer service when you're really in buying mode. And if it was our company, which I presume it was, and our family business that did that, I apologise because you didn't get treated correctly and you didn't get treated to the values that we uphold for customer service. Yeah. Why you get emailed every day, and I'd be disappointed if you got emailed every day, but I respect that you've said that, is that we're constantly looking for business. But as I always say to our team, it doesn't matter how many emails we send out to our customers, our clients. If we're not actually servicing them correctly when they call us, we're missing the point. So look, in essence, I can say that if that's happened to you, you weren't treated correctly as a customer when you called in, and I'm sorry about that. We are always working on customer service here. How do I say this without trying to brag, because I'm not trying to, we have the highest what's called customer service rating in the industry for what we do. What we call
Net Promoter Score.
Net Promoter Score, which all the big companies use, and I'm very proud of that, but it doesn't mean we don't set new benchmarks all the time. So quite frankly, I don't think the real estate industry's got it right, and we're part of the real estate industry. I think we, as an industry, have to increase our customer service levels, especially for tenants, first and foremost, but certainly for buyers, sellers, landlords. And we're getting better at that. I think we're getting better at that. You watch your space over the next couple of years, real estate in general is getting a lot more professional, and we're all getting carried away on that wave to help our customers with why we're here, really, Karuna, is better customer service.
That's right, and that's what we're continually working on and have a focus on all the time, is making sure that we give better service to our customers.
Yeah. And look, we're not always perfect. Please, we sell a lot of property, we manage a lot of property, and we deal with a lot of clients every day. I wish we were perfect, and we're striving to be perfect, but we're not. So there are going to be things falling through the gap. One of the things we put in place to help with that is our live chat. So if anybody's listening to this and has an issue, please go to live chat straight away, and we've got people on there all the time answering questions now. It's been incredible for us over the last 3 months of helping us deliver better customer service.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So number 3 is from Wendy.
Yes, Wendy.
Where do you think Southeast Queensland property market is or is going to be in 2018?
Yeah, awesome question. I can only speak from the fact that I don't have much hair on my head these days, and I've been around for a little bit longer than a lot of the people who are buying and selling houses now. But I've now been in property for 30 years, and all I can talk about is historical evidence. I'm very bullish. This is my opinion, by the way. I'm not basing this on anybody else's opinion. This is my personal opinion of what I believe property is going to do. But if you look back historically and you look at the Queensland market, we haven't seen any real price growth for the last 10 years or so, since the GFC.
Yeah.
And if you look historically speaking, there haven't been many times that we've gone for 10 years with the limited price growth we've had without quite good price growth coming up. So I'm very bullish, meaning that I believe we're going to see some capital growth in Queensland. You also look at, we have been counter-cyclical.
So this year, 2018?
I think we're starting now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're in the start of it. I think we're in a good position now. This doesn't constitute advice for you, by the way. This is just my personal opinion. But I'm personally buying more property at the moment, so that gives you an idea of what where I think the market cycle is. And everything works on a cycle and a time frame. And I do believe that we're counter-cyclical to Sydney and Melbourne, and they've had some good times in the sun. When the differential in price from Sydney and especially to Brisbane becomes nearly 50%, so the average household in Sydney to the average household in Brisbane is about 50%. The value is a Brisbane house to a Sydney house. That doesn't make sense. And the last time when we got too close to the high end, we got to about 70% of the value of the Sydney house. That's when our market slowed down. So I'm expecting with the capital infrastructure works that the Queensland government are putting in, with the private sector that are putting into southeast Queensland especially, with mining starting to show some green shoots as well, we'll create jobs. When we've got jobs, we've got the right recipe for the rest of, for a lot of immigration. When you've got immigration coming into the country, into an area, you have population increase. When you've got population increase, you have supply and demand in any market. It's the real estate market. So more people buying houses mean prices are going to rise. And that's my belief.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Okay, fourth question is from MK.
Hello, MK.
I have engaged Coronis to manage my investment property.
Sure.
Why have I had more than 70 property managers in less than 12 months?
70 property managers?
Sorry, 7. Sorry, did I say 7?
I think
70,
you said
sorry.
70. Yeah.
7. Sorry, my mistake. 7.
I was going to have a real heart attack. That's bigger than our whole property management team.
7. Sorry.
That's all right. But even 7. I saw this question, MK, and I went around and I asked because it was great. I saw some of the questions coming in. We haven't had an office that's had 7. We have had offices where we have different people in our structure of property management doing different roles. And it may be that we've had different touch points from, say, a letting officer and a property manager and a receptionist and an arrears person and a trust account manager that has had that communication. Regardless of if there's 7 people or not, which there hasn't been, I'm pleased to say. Yeah. Turnover of property managers is not a positive thing. We address that. We work very hard to have a lower percentage of the industry by a long way. We love our property management department. They're fantastic at what they do, and the property managers have a very tough job. But in essence, what you're saying, I presume, is the communication with you hasn't been good enough. Yeah. Whether there's been 7 or 5 or 2 or 3, that's an irrelevant fact, I presume, for MK, if our communication standards were good enough. And I just probably believe in this particular case that we haven't been communicating well with you well enough. And again, I apologise for that. And if you want to get online and write to andrew.coronis@coronis.com.au, I'll look into it further for you.
Yeah. We obviously are making sure that we're focusing on that in 2018 and want to raise the communication levels with our tenants and with our landlords, and we've already put a plan in place to do that, so hopefully that helps also, and please give us feedback on that on live chat as well. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Great, so number 5, Annie. In the current Brisbane market, which suburbs have the highest rental yield and lowest arrears?
Wow, I had to go researching this myself because it's an awesome question that I didn't know about.
It's a great question.
It's a great question. So when you do a blend of the arrears and the lowest arrears, which means there's generally high, there's low vacancy rate if you've got low arrears, because if you're a bad tenant, you don't get to stay in the property, and because you're confident of finding another tenant if your arrears are high. And the rental yields kind of fit in with all that as well, because the yield will grow if there's high demand for that area. Yeah. And interestingly enough, I have a bit of paper right here that I'm going to tell you about.
Little cheat sheet.
Have a look at this. So they're mainly Bayside areas, would you believe? Which is interesting.
I would believe that.
Would you believe that?
Yeah, I would, because it's a really...
Not living on the Bayside myself, I didn't realise that. So Thornside at 6.5% yield is the highest rental yield at the moment. Wynnum West at 6.1%, Capalaba at 6%. Now, you can throw a blanket over all those suburbs. And then you go Northside, which is Brackenridge at 6%, Tygum at 6%, and Warner's probably the left field one. Warner's out near, if you live out near Albany Creek, that area, at 5.9%. And they're the highest rental yields as we sit as of last month in Brisbane.
Good places to buy property.
Good places to buy property, yeah. And look, I always say that if you're looking for a property investment, don't be too swayed on where you live, because that's a very personal opinion. Go and look for where you believe the most demand will come from for tenants that want to live there.
Yeah.
And generally, in my opinion, that's for areas that sometimes don't have the highest rental yield at the moment. They might be the up-and-coming areas. We could all be geniuses, 15, 20 years ago, and bought a lot of houses at, say, at New Farm. When I first started in property, I bought a house at Paddington, and it was a pretty modest suburb back then, Paddington. And you look at what's happening to Paddington. Who would have believed? When I was growing up at my grandmother's house at New Farm, because that's where she lived, it wasn't the most desirable area to live, so much so my grandmother wouldn't let us out of her house. And now look at the area. So there's two things to look for. Do you go for the numbers that are good now, or do you actually look for the potential where it's going to go up? I believe you should have some vision, and you'll get better capital growth by looking for where there's going to be increased demand going forward. And to be honest, the Bayside areas in Brisbane, whether they be at Redcliffe or whether they be down at Wynnum, are fantastic places to live. I'm an avid bike rider, so I'm always riding somewhere. And it always astounds me the quality of housing in the Bayside areas for the price that they are, for the quality of lifestyle that's there.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, so really just look at buying an investment property.
Well, that's up to the individual. I mean, I believe in property. I've made, the business has been fantastic for me, for my personal wealth, but, I've made, I've done very well financially out of property investment, personally.
Yeah. Excellent, okay. So, sixth question from Wendy.
Hello, Wendy. Wendy's watching. Do you reckon Wendy's watching?
I hope she is.
Yeah.
I hope that a few people are watching.
I wonder can we have ratings on Karuna to see how good she is as a interviewer? Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Thanks for the pressure.
Yeah, she loves it. Karuna's under a lot of pressure at the moment.
Love it. Yeah. So back to you, Wendy. Where do you see apartments, units heading price-wise in the northern Brisbane area in 2018? So the apartment market.
Yeah. I presume Wendy's been following the market, and for those of you who haven't been, the rental market, not just the rental market, the rental and sales market for units in I would say up to a 15 to 20 kilometre radius has been a bit soft, and the closer you get into town, the softer it gets. Yeah. So you get to a 2 or 3. I mean soft. Soft is a term for saying that there's more supply than there is demand at the moment, especially when you get to a 2 or 3 kilometre ring around town.
Yeah.
In saying that, I've got to actually say there's two markets with units. Okay, so you've got a unit market where people want to live, and you've got a unit market where people are investing. The unit market, the quality units are good enough for people to live in, that's actually still very solid. There are people who want to live in units and they want good quality units to live in. The investor market is the one that's actually having some trouble at the moment. So the typical investor stock. Now, saying that, the prices have come off, and there is some of the new to near you units that are being sold for below replacement value. So again, I get back to the basics and the fundamentals. If you can buy a new or fairly new unit for less than the cost of what it would cost to construct, that's going to change at some particular point in time. So the fundamentals don't work, which is, in my opinion, then that's when the good time to buy is.
So would you think buying in 2018 in the northern suburbs of Brisbane?
I would be very selective on the style, and I would shop very hard on the price. But yes, I don't believe that. My sister-in-law is just buying a unit at the moment under that advice.
Or maybe she means selling. Do you think it would be worth selling?
She may be selling.
At the moment?
Look, again, if you're buying a standard 2-bedroom unit that's just straight for investors, it's going to be harder to sell. That is going to be harder to sell. And then you've got to determine whether you hold on, because eventually the market comes back. I mean, real estate is a long-term play. No one buys in. You shouldn't buy into real estate for a short-term play. It's a 5+ year thing.
Sure. Okay. So it's number 7 is from Jeffrey.
Hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, Jeffrey. In regards to trying to buy a place in today's market, is it better to buy a unit or a house?
Wow. Good question. I believe you should buy what they're not making much of. Now, that sounds really cryptic, I know. But the fact is, they're not making any more land. Whereas you can build plenty more units. So I'll let you make that decision based on the fact of, as I've talked about before, real estate's like every other market with supply and demand. And I'm not saying don't buy a unit, because there are some units in great areas that I advocate buying. I'd just be more selective on the unit you would buy, whereas when you're buying a house, you're actually buying a plot of land, a parcel of land, a plot of land, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I'm very confident that if you buy anywhere around the Brisbane or even southeast in a reasonable area close to infrastructure with a block of land, it would be harder to go wrong buying that than it would be a unit.
Yeah.
That's the way that I'd probably describe that. Because for some people buying a unit who aren't handy, who don't want a yard, who don't want to look after property and maintenance, it's a much better proposition.
Yeah.
But I would just be more selective on the unit that you buy, whether it's close to the amenities, whether it's got 2-car garage, whether it's got a bigger living area, whether it's got 2 garages, whether it's got 2 bathrooms, whether it's got predominantly owner-occupiers in the block rather than investors. So just do. My point is, there is no one better than the other, but you must, in my opinion, do more due diligence on a unit than you would have to on a house.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, great. Number 8, Chris. How can I get into my own home whilst I have had a home before and had to sell it due to a divorce?
Yeah.
So how am I going to get my own home whilst I've had my, had a home before and I had to sell it due to a divorce?
Yeah, okay. Let me just touch on the first point, because I don't know if anyone's asked this question, but I'm going to veer off now because I'm really good at veering off. One of the big questions is, well, why should I buy a home?
Yeah.
Okay. And in some cases, I've done economic modelling that it is much better economically, sometimes if you get it right, to rent than it is to buy. But there is, as humans, we need to belong somewhere. And there is something very special about having your own home and walking through the door and not having anybody generally who's going to walk in and say, well, you have to move out of an end of a lease. Now, most people get that, and that's why there's this great Aussie dream to buy a property and have independent security. And I really do believe that the main reasons people buy property is for security for your nature and yourself. So you're not going to be, you've got somewhere to go that is yours.
Yeah.
And financial security as well. And in the past, they've been 2 very good reasons to buy a property. So if you're in that situation, as I don't know if the male or who was it? Sorry.
Chris. It could be a male or a female.
It could be a male or a female. Yeah. And irrelevant, to be honest. Chris should find a way of buying a property, and the way that I did it when I was buying my first home was I didn't have any money. We came from fairly humble beginnings, and I borrowed money to buy a house, but I did it in partnership with somebody else.
Yeah.
So the way that I did that, my friend who and I bought a house at Paddington, and we renovated, and we spent, we were only young kids at that stage, we were 23 years old. He had to sell his old Volvo, which he got about $1,000 for. He went around selling everything he could, and we both got, I think it was $5,000 together each.
Yep.
And we bought a house at Paddington, and we spent our days and nights renovating that house. It was one of the best things we ever did, to be honest. It made us closest mates. We used to invite all our mates around to help us. They had nothing else to do, so we'd put on beers and things, and they'd come around and help us paint and have fun.
Yeah, it's nice.
And renovate a house, and it was a real project for us to do. So, Chris, one of the ways that you could do it is, don't think you've got to stump up all the money yourself. Sorry, I should say this too. Go and have a talk to a good broker, because a good broker can get you into a property. Yeah,
and they can do it for quite low deposits at the moment, and the interest rates are really low. I think it's as low as 3.59%. They're getting them at.
I don't know. I don't know if this is still applicable, Karuna, but it was only 3 or 4 months ago we had our first homeowners grant, the first homeowners night.
Yeah.
With the first homeowners grant that you get, with the concessions that you do get on stamp duty, with the interest rates that they were, and with I think it was Bank of Queensland. It was a lending institution anyway. And again, I don't know if this is applicable now. It might have changed. But if you and your friend went in and you had, I think it was $2,500 each, or somewhere around $2,000 each, it was going to cost you each about $380 a week to get a home.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
and there's lots of options like that for people that aren't first home buyers as well, like Chris, which. Speak to a good broker and they can definitely help you out.
And that's why, look, I'm so proud of our brokerage team, because they're always working on these things, again, so we can help our clients. The amount of properties that we've helped people get into.
And they want to get them into a good home with the best possible rates.
Very. Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Okay. Number 9, Alex. So what is your forecast for the real estate market in Brisbane over the next 3 years?
I think I answered that before, Alex. Again, maybe I've got to believe in it because I'm heavily invested in property. I don't know, but I genuinely do believe that Brisbane hasn't seen any real quality growth over the last 10 years or so. And I think it's our time in the sun. Now, I could be totally wrong with that, but I do believe, looking at all the markers from historical evidence, that we're going to see some growth. Now, what that growth is, I don't have a crystal ball, and nobody does. And if anybody tells you they do, they're misleading you. But if I look at history and I put all of that in a pot and I analyse it, which I analyse markets very heavily, I feel very confident of the market going up in the next couple of years.
Excellent. Okay. So we've had a live question come through while we're chatting. So we'll just go to that question right now. So compared to others, I'm satisfied with Coronis. What do you see as the key differences between Coronis and emerging Purplebricks?
Okay. Firstly, if you're satisfied with Coronis, I'm not that happy, to be honest. Well, I don't want our clients to be satisfied.
Yeah.
It's a nice word, but that's what it is. It's just I want our clients to be delighted, and we've got to work harder on that. But the difference between us, let's talk. I don't know if Purplebricks. For those of you who don't know, Purplebricks is a company that came out from the UK, and they're I suppose, one of a better word, a discount model for selling your house. Yeah, I don't even know what the level of fee is. I think it's about.
I think they've just increased it today, actually.
Have they?
Andrew.
Yeah. Well, what is it today?
Oh, don't quote me, but I think it's gone up to 7,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can sell your house for $7,000. From what I understand, and I could be wrong with this, it used to be a listing fee rather than a selling fee. So one of the big differences with Coronis selling your house, you pay us on a performance. So if you don't sell your house, you don't have to pay a commission. Whereas I believe with Purplebricks, you've got to pay a fair bit of money up front, and if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell, and you're out of pocket with a cheque. Now, there are benefits for both sides, to be honest. But traditionally in Australia, we've only paid on results and paid for performance rather than paying for just a service. And one of the problems that I see, and I think there's a place for Purplebricks in our market, to be quite honest, in all markets, because there are going to be people who want to use Purplebricks. But one of the problems I see for not just Purplebricks, any discount model going forward, you're not going to attract the best quality agents to sell the property.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting paid as much.
Yeah.
And I stand by that. I think the better quality agents are working 7 days a week to sell property, and you don't understand, and I'm standing up for our industry here, you don't understand how hard it is to sell property. It's not just a matter of putting on a nice suit, driving a BMW, going having coffee and showing a couple of people houses. You are on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And that is very difficult when you've got, as a person, and you must be there, if you're a good real estate agent that is, to give customer service when the customer needs it. And in a lot of cases, that's not when business times.
And you're not only paying on just the performance, but you're also paying on, have you been over the moon with the service that you've received? Have they delivered on everything they said they were going to? Because you're not paying that fee until they've actually delivered on all things, not just including the sale, but also that you're happy with everything they've delivered on.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I suppose then, if I look further into the question, I look at how do you choose an agent? Because that's I don't know if that's in there, but how do you choose an agent?
I haven't got to that one.
Oh,
You're
is there one in
jumping
there?
ahead again.
Okay, that's all right. I'm good at jumping ahead.
I actually don't know if that is in there, but it is a great question.
It's a really good question. A lot of people ask, how do you choose an agent? And if that's what, the question is, why choose Coronis or why choose Purplebricks or any other agency for that matter? We believe in our business, in our people. We pay very high wage packages plus bonuses to our guys to perform good levels of service, and that's why our service levels are so high. That's why we sell about 4 times the industry standard on average for our guys compared to the industry standard. And that's why I'm really proud about that. But I don't think you would get our guys who are currently selling 4 times the industry standard to go and work for Purplebricks, because they just wouldn't do it wouldn't put the effort in for what's required for the remuneration. And I stand by that. I believe in a community, you get rewarded for the effort that you put in, and if you're good enough, you do charge more. And we all pay more. We all pay more for things that we value higher.
that we see value in.
We see value in.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you don't see value in a typical real estate model, that's where I think Purplebricks comes in really well.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay, back onto the questions that I've got in front of me.
Sure.
So number 10 is by Rob B. There was plenty of talk of interest rates increasing in 2018. What impact will this have on the property prices and affordability?
Yep. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. There's plenty of talk of interest rates increasing in 2018. What impact will this have on property prices and affordability?
Yeah. Funnily enough, if you go back through history again, you look at the interest rates rising. When I first started in real estate in 1988, 89, they were going up, and the interest rates on houses were 18% for owner-occupiers, up 22%. And they kept rising interest rates to slow the market down. But the supply and demand of the market kept going up, and eventually got to a tipping point of 18%. So
well, that was when you bought your
That's when I bought my first home.
Yeah.
And you just had to suck it up.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, low interest rates haven't had the biggest effect on housing volume numbers. They have an effect on affordability. Obviously, if you're paying 8% for your house as opposed to 4%, affordability at the moment, in my opinion, in Queensland, in southeast Queensland, is quite good. And we've got to be careful too, guys. We are southeast Queensland centric, and we are looking at the commentary around southeast Queensland. A lot of the media are focusing on commentary around Australia. So the media are trying to make big stories out of things out of Sydney and Melbourne that just don't apply.
Well, we seem to like we're getting quite a lot of people from the southern states moving up here, which will
exactly. Yeah. I mean, you can still buy houses in great areas close to town for under $500,000.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about that. And if you look at under $500,000 and you look at the interest rates and you look at the deposit you've got to put down, you look at the first home grant and all the things that go with it, even for new stock, at nice residential areas, it's actually reasonably affordable. So
do you think the interest rates will increase?
Interest rates will certainly increase at some particular point in time because, again, historically, we're looking at historical lows where we are now. So there's only really one way for interest rates to go. They will go up, there is no doubt about that. When you do go to a bank, though, and you go to a good broker, they will factor in that you're actually making repayments on about 2 or 3 basis points higher than what it is at the moment. So they'll build in fat for you so that if interest rates go up, it doesn't affect your day-to-day living costs.
And you can still have live comfortably.
Yeah, generally speaking, I think they're working off about 7.5% interest rate at the moment when you go for a loan that you can afford at 7.5%. So it's built in.
Okay, excellent. Okay, number 11 from Rick. How did you start off in property? In particular, how did you find your first 100 clients?
Yeah, I touched on that before. I presume this is in the sales capacity when I first started off. And look, when I first started off in real estate, we had a very mediocre office, I'll be honest. We were typical industry average people. We didn't see any value in working hard and putting effort in. We went and did some training. And
Thank God that's changed.
Yes, it did change. It did change. And look, it probably took me to get my first 100 clients probably 3 or 4 years because I wasn't putting the effort in. But when I discovered, as I spoke about earlier in this session, when you start talking to people, people start talking to you, funnily enough. And when they start talking to you, you can talk to them about their real estate needs. There's about 3% of the population are actually selling, buying at the moment, or even renting, okay? So they're active. There are 3 out of every 100 are active in the real estate space. So that means you've talked to 100 people, 3 of them are going to be doing something you can help them with. So how did I find my first? When I got a handle on the fact of I actually just had to talk to a whole heap of people and ask them, how can I help you? I'm a real estate agent looking for work. That's when I started getting many clients. And then you do good customer service, and the great thing about real estate that I love, and the not so great thing, it's a paradox here, you can become a great real estate salesperson or property manager or even finance broker with the right support and structure around you, that's very clear, within 3 to 6 months.
Definitely. People in our business at the moment have 500 clients by the end of 60 days.
You don't have to wait long now because we've got the structures in place. And look, a lot of people don't like our structures because we are the best, I believe, in the industry in Australia of getting people up to speed very quickly. But it's a determined person that we always look for. Yeah. So, I always come back to it starts with your why and your purpose, and then we're here to help you facilitate what we want for all of our team, which is financial security for our team, which is a really good career that's challenging, and that will obviously deliver a work-life balance to you.
Yeah.
And they're the three things that we're pushing for our team. They're the values that we have around our team, and we have our values around our business, which are, it's got to be great for our clients. Yeah, because if we're not here, we're only here for our clients. It's got to be great for our clients. It's got to be great for our team members, and it's got to help the business grow.
Yeah. So first 100 clients, get out and talk to people again, belly to belly.
Pretty much.
Yep.
There is no substitute for hard work.
Yep.
Computers won't help you. I mean, this is very good leverage for us. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, we can leverage over how many people are looking at this right now, and we're having a nice chat here.
Yeah.
I've known Karuna for many years, so.
That's why he feels very comfortable taking the piss out of me.
Yeah, very. Yeah. I said you said we weren't going to swear, and I haven't.
Is that a swear word?
I reckon that's a swear word.
Oh, sorry.
Potty mouth.
I thought
Karuna.
that was that was pretty. That was okay.
Yeah, okay.
So Lachlan, number 12.
Yep.
What makes Coronis different to traditional franchises?
Yeah, really good question. For those of you who don't know, most real estate agencies with names on them are franchised, so they're individual owners and they're cottage businesses, which means in case they've got one name at the top of the business, but they don't get along with each other. You know, one of the benefits that we are company owned.
Yeah.
And when I mean company owned, it's family owned still. We have shareholders. Actually, Karuna's a shareholder in the business. We have quite a few shareholders that have grown from salespeople and secretaries and property managers who have equity in our business, which is fantastic. And we promote that heavily in our business. But you know, one of the biggest difference we have, we care. You know, if someone writes a question that comes in like that, we care about it, and we're here to answer those things. We're here doing this because we care about our brand. And you won't get that with a franchise because they're all individual businesses. They'll care about their XYZ Realty at Lutwich or Ascot or Hamilton or Warner, but they won't care about the one in the following suburb. So you have this conflict of interest where I'm looking after my own little office, but I really don't care enough about the client to help them if they're going to the next suburb. It only came the other day, there was somebody that we're managing property for at Springwood, and they had their daughter buying a property, investment property. I think it was further north at our Purplebricks office, and they were able to have the same relationship, so they don't have to go looking somewhere else and creating relationships somewhere else. And they know the certain standard that we're going to be able to deliver is the same across both offices.
Yeah, and I think the other really big difference as well is that because we are wholly company owned, we also can provide the end-to-end service to all of our clients with the conveyancing, the building and pest inspections, with insurance, with many property management, the sales, and we really care about giving us every customer that experience and making sure they get the best possible outcome, whether they've sold, whether they're renting through us, whatever it is, we want to deliver that to you.
Yeah. And there you go. We probably have more control over the customer service levels.
Yeah.
Because we're responsible.
And making it easier with providing those services to everyone.
Yeah. We're very proud of our name. We're very proud of our business, and it's up to people like yourself who have helped support us. So again, thank you for that. And that would be the main difference. Yeah. We have ultimate control over the customer service, where franchises don't.
Yeah. Okay, number 13, Kimberly West. In November, I emailed Jody, Adam and Anthony about continued ongoing core customer service from your Cooper office. Why have I had no response?
Okay. Again, I've looked at this question and I went looking into Kimberly West. One of the best things about us that we track every call, we track every email that comes in. It all goes into a central database, and we know there is no entry from a Kimberly West. So I don't know if it's Kimberly has called in or Kimberly's asking that question on behalf of somebody else. But it's very hard for us to get a handle on where we've gone wrong if we haven't got it logged. And we log every question. Those three people are from three different disciplines in the business, so I don't know how that would work too. One's from the north side, one's from the south side, and they're not all associated with the Cooper office. But again, if it comes back to the fact that we haven't communicated well enough, I'll wear that and just say sorry. We're not infallible when it comes to that. And if you want to get on at andrew.coronis.com.au, I'll come back to you personally and fix any issue that's there.
We would love to know if we haven't logged the call and where it's come from as well, so we can track it back.
That is against our
standards and practices.
Our standards.
Yeah. Okay. So number 14, Craig. Over the last year, your company is showing signs of moving away from the personal touch to IT control. Why? If not for Vicky Wharton, I'd be gone.
Wow, that hurts. That really hurts.
Well, it's good that he's happy with Vicky.
Yeah. Well, we love Vicky. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Vicky's a property manager in our Gold
Good
Coast
shout
office,
out to Vicky.
and she's exceptional. And if that's the way that Craig, did you say, feels? Is that who asked the question? Craig feels. That's really. I saw the question, and I'm doing some more investigation into that. We've got to, as an industry, evolve, and technology has to be there for us to use. If we're not offering the personal touch with the technology, it won't work. So we have to be able to get this right. There's no point in putting in technological plays to make it easier. The reason we're doing it is to make it easier for our clients.
Well, and to open up communication channels more and actually create...
And make it easy.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do.
That's
we want to make it
more
easy and less
feedback.
stressful.
Yeah.
And if that's not proving to offer that solution to our clients, we'll address that straight away. There's no doubt about that.
Okay. It would be nice to know as well where that perception's.
Yeah, I ask all our clients and future clients to bear with us with this.
Yeah.
It's evolving really rapidly. I don't believe technology in real estate's very good at all. And we go looking around the world. We're actually talking to a Swedish company at the moment about implementing something that seems to be going very well over there. And there's going to be teething problems. So again, I apologise for that if our customer service wasn't up to speed. I'm pleased that Vicky's holding forward on that, which is really nice to hear. But clearly, if you're feeling that way, Craig, we've got to get better at it.
Yeah. Okay, number 15, John. Which Brisbane suburbs will benefit most in regards to the price uplift from proposed major new infrastructure? So the Cross River Rail and other major projects. I assume they might be talking about the new casino that's going in as well. So which suburbs do you think will benefit the most from the price uplift?
Yeah. Firstly, let me say, that new casino project, the Queen's Wharf project and the Cross River Rail is awesome.
It's unbelievable.
It's going to be fantastic for our city.
Yeah.
And our state.
Well, like you were talking about before with people moving here, that's going to create a lot of jobs.
You know, one of the big things you don't even understand, well, I didn't understand until I went to a meeting about it. You think about, I think there's 5 new hotels going in. They even think about the fresh flowers that need to be grown for the hotels that are going to be out in the Lockyer Valley, and the jobs that are going to be produced in the Lockyer Valley to produce fresh flowers for the 5 hotels. I had never thought
about that until I came to that same meeting.
Yeah. It just blows your head apart
yeah.
how great this is going to be.
Yeah.
How great it's going to be. This will be, in my opinion, again, as big as Expo was to Brisbane.
Yeah.
If not bigger. So when it comes to Cross River Rail, I think in any city, going near the nodes of transport is a really good way of doing it. And you should look at where the new station's going to be. And they will have uplift. I mean, you look at where we are here at Lutwyche, the bus station went in, units went in, property prices started growing. And that's a fundamental of where it is. So I would look for where the infrastructure is going in, which will create demand. Demand creates people want to live there. People want to live there means that if there's nothing, the prices will have to go up.
Yeah, okay. So look at where the river stops are going to be.
Well, it's not just the River Rail, it's the Metro,
Rail.
The Brisbane City Council are putting that in. I mean, the billions of dollars, it's the airport doubling in size. I mean, these guys are pretty smart. They don't go doubling the size of an airport because they maybe think people are coming to Brisbane. Yeah. There's going to be a big influx over the next 10, 15 years of Brisbane. And
also with the tourists coming
and
as well.
we haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Okay, number 16, this is from multiple people.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. We've had a lot of people ask the questions. How do I get into the real estate industry? How do I get a career in real estate?
Yeah. But the real estate industry has been awesome for me. I finished school. We had, for those of you a bit older listening, we had a TE school back then. My TE school wasn't the best. If any of my old teachers are listening, they can attest to that.
Luckily, that's something that you don't need in real estate.
You don't need a TE score in real estate. So how do you get into the real estate industry? Look, realistically, it's very easy. You can go to a training academy. We've got one of them called the REAA, Real Estate Academy Australia, or National Real Estate Learning, and you can book online. You can get a course, and you can start selling real estate.
Yeah.
But with respect to our own business, that's not going to teach you how to sell real estate.
Yeah.
That will give you the qualification to do it, and they're only short courses. But
is that 2 days?
There's 2 days to become a salesperson certificate and a week-long course to get a full real estate license.
Yep.
And they're good courses, and it's a registered training organisation, and they're bound by doing the right thing as prescribed by the government. But still, it's not going to teach you how to sell a house or how to run a business. That takes time, and there's a massive churn in the real estate industry of people who get into the real estate industry, and I don't believe, I get really passionate about this, I don't believe that should be the case. In most cases, because people want to give real estate a go.
Yeah.
So, as I say to people, if you've got plan B or you want to give real estate a go and take plan B, because you'll pull the handbrake on plan A, because it's a lot more difficult than you thought it was. I always ask our new recruits after the first month or 6 weeks, what's it like?
Yeah.
And they also, God, it was so different to what I thought it would be.
So much more challenging.
So much more challenging.
Yeah.
You'll be embarking on doing the equivalent of a university degree whilst having to work, and you'll still have to provide and do business at the same time. So it's really, really difficult. And I don't know how to say this without sounding mercenary, because I'm not mercenary about money, but it does provide a financial future for yourself and your family.
It does.
That is what a really good, but you have to work really, really hard for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know there are any other businesses that you can earn the money if you put in, and again I get back to this word structure, have the right structure around you and right support and right mentors around you like we do.
Yeah.
And that's how we get people up to speed very quickly. So how do you get in the industry? Effectively you apply to a real estate agency, whether it's us or anybody else. What I would say to you though, make sure you go somewhere where someone's going to hold your hand through this process, because if you don't, you're likely to be one of the 9 out of 10 people that won't be in real estate the next year.
Yeah.
That's not our statistic, that's an industry statistic. We are far better than that.
Yeah. Anyone can get into real estate, and there's lots of people that change from, car sales and PT and hairdressers and retail, and they're very, very successful in real estate. We are having a careers session on the 15th of February at our 520 Lutwich Road room, and they will give you a big overview on what you need to do, how it works. You'll hear from other people in the industry that have actually done it and what they've done and where the successes come from. So if you want to attend that, jump on live chat or on our careers page on our website, and we can give you as much information as you'd like. We'd love to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But can I say, it's fantastic. I love it. It is fantastic.
I love it too.
Yeah.
And I think most people that work here do love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. So 17, I hope this is saying it correctly, Jeanette. Mm-hmm. It is now 12 months.
That's not that hard to say, Karuna. No.
Well, it's an unusual spelling, and I just
Okay.
want to make sure that it's,
Sure.
I hope that it's all right for the lady.
Yeah.
It is now 12 months since I asked for block drains to be addressed.
Uh-huh.
The plumber who came told me not to use the ensuite till the job was done. So obviously a tenant in one of our...
Yeah, I presume Jeanette is a tenant. Again, that's not our standards. I don't know how that slipped through, and if you want to email andrew.coronis.com.
That one has definitely been actioned, and it's now been fixed.
Yeah, we're not infallible. Things
Yeah.
like that happen. I don't think it's appropriate that, if you're asking me about the appropriateness of a plumber saying to you indefinitely don't use a toilet, I mean, there's going to be times where people are going to say don't use a toilet until we fix it, which should, for something like a toilet, should only be a day or two anyway.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't understand as tenants, and this is by no means an excuse, but we're kind of stuck in the middle of sometimes landlords who don't want to spend the money on the property as well. So I don't think that's an acceptable thing to say, don't use the ensuite. And if your property manager is saying that, whether you're a Coronis client or not, unless they give you a suitable outcome of time.
Yeah, well, I think that thank you for letting us know when it got fixed. So
Great.
we do appreciate you letting us know. Yeah. Okay, another live question. You seem to have a very strong company culture. Mm-hmm. What do you actively do to create that amongst your team?
Yeah. I suppose they talk about a business that the business rots from the head first, and the culture comes from the head first, and I've got to wear that on my shoulder, rightly and wrongly. The things go right in this business, where certainly things go wrong, I'll wear responsibility on my shoulders. But culture is one of the things that I'm really proud of in this business, because we have a family culture, we have a hard-working culture, we have a winning culture. We don't like to come second. We're very competitive. We work with each other internally though, but we're competitive to be the best that we can be for our clients.
Yeah.
And I think that breeds, you can't buy culture. you can't buy the fact that we like coming and being here together. I mean, my wife Annie used to say to me, "You're going to work to hang out with your mates again?" And I said, "Yeah, I genuinely like hanging out with the people I work with."
Yeah.
And
that
I always
still
say,
continued 30 years later.
well, I hope so.
Yeah.
And if we lose that, I was about to swear then, by the way. Like, if we lose that, I'm over. I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to come. I don't want it to be a place where people come to work. I believe as our evolution of humans evolve, work and life becomes one.
Yeah.
This idea of work-life balance being 50% at work and 50%, and then I get to 60 years old, I get to go watch and I get to go home and sit home and play golf. No, that's not going to work.
This is life.
Yeah, this is life.
Yeah.
Now you look at my father now. He's, Dad's 81 now, and he comes in every day. He might even be watching this, and I can honestly say that he doesn't have responsibilities to do things, but he adds so much value as an elder gentleman coming in. I don't know what time he comes in, but he's usually leaving by about 9 o'clock, so in the morning that is. And he just adds value. So, I hope that in my mind, how we create this culture is tell everybody, it's not a job here, and you're not a conscript to this business. You walk through this door every morning because you want to be here and you want to help grow the best agency in the world. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And we're not there yet by any means. We've got a lot of things to do, but we're here to do that. And if you don't want to be involved and get on that bus and grow and belong. I mean, one of the big things I've been talking about recently, I was lucky to be in a session with the All Blacks manager from 2004 to current.
Yeah.
And he talked about one of the best things that the All Blacks do, which he changed. He believed he had an instrumental part in changing the culture, was forming a belonging.
Yeah.
Because when, the importance of belonging to something and growing with people is really important as humans, and that's why I think a lot of people feel like they belong here. And that's fun. So how do we keep the culture going? We make a space and a place where people belong in a work capacity, and they get financial freedom, they get a challenging career, and they get work-life balance out of it.
Yes. Excellent. Okay. So we've got the question from Alex, number 18. Which area do you think is best to invest for capital gain for the next 5 to 10 years?
Again, I'm biased with this. I'd say Southeast Queensland. Funnily enough, the North Coast at the moment is going gangbusters. It's probably the best market at the moment that I've seen.
Yep.
But if you follow the North, it gets back to those fundamentals I was talking about. The North Coast for the last 10 to 15 years has been pretty ordinary capital growth. In fact, it went backwards a long way.
Yeah.
But now they put in a hospital, they're putting in infrastructure up there, and the North Coast is starting to really go well. So some of the numbers we're seeing for capital growth and rental yields out of our North Coast office, they're putting in Aura, which is a massive development on Caloundra South.
That's right.
And people want to live there. It's a nice place to live.
Beautiful.
I'd love to live at Caloundra. I think it's a nice place. I don't know. One thing, if I could change about Brisbane, is actually move it to the beach. I reckon that'd be pretty good if we could do that.
It would be. Okay, number 19. It's from Nathan.
Yes. Nathan.
I'm considering selling a 2-bedroom unit in Morningside. Any predictions for the next 2 to 5 years?
It depends what you're selling it for, Nathan. But if you don't need to sell it, my learnings have been don't sell it. I think Morningside's a great area. I don't think it's hit its straps yet. I think Morningside's one of those fringe areas. It's on Hawthorn, Bulimba have gone really well, and the next suburb out is Morningside. I think it's going well, but I think it can go a lot better. I think its affordability is fantastic, and a 2-bedroom unit there would be somewhere between, depending on the style of unit, $300,000 and $500,000. That'd be somewhere in that zone.
Yeah, it depends on which part and how modern it is.
Very much. There'd be there's a lot of contingencies in there.
Yeah.
But if it's at the more affordable end of the range, I think there's only one way that unit can go, which is up.
Yep.
Again, personal opinion.
Definitely. Okay, number 20. Bob E.
Yep.
Do you expect house prices to rise, especially the Marumba Downs area in Brisbane, anytime soon? House prices haven't risen much lately, which you touched on before.
And I think you've got it. House prices haven't risen much at all, and it's been... Okay, I'll give you an idea. So I bought my first house in 1988. I was 18 years old, and I held it all the way through the 90s. And I remember saying to my father all the time, what the hell am I got this house for? This sucks. Property prices aren't going up. And it was a little house in Kedron that I'd bought for $55,000. No, $55,000. It was 1 bedroom. It had fibro, and it was on 400 square metres. Yeah?
Yep.
And all through the 90s, it sucks a square word. Swear word?
Oh, I don't know. I got told piss was.
Yeah, no. Anyway, it wasn't very good. Yeah. So all through the 90s, we went, no, God, this is not very good.
Yeah.
And I was going, what am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? And luckily enough, I had my father who's got wisdom before me, and he said, just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. Every couple of years I'd be going, I don't want to pay a mortgage. This is not very good.
Yeah.
I'm going to be spending the money on other things and consumables.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it hit about 2001, 2002, and I think it went from 55 to maybe 60,000 in that 10-year period. I don't even think it got to 60. It had not gone up much at all. And all of a sudden it got to about 2002 and tripled in about 3 years. So it went from 55 to 252. Now, that is just what I look at historically, and I'm hanging on to those things. And you look at Marumba Downs, which is a prime example of it, for the gentleman's name was...
Bob. Yep.
And Marumba Downs is a great example of it. It hasn't done anything for the last 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So I look at that and go, well, there's a good chance that it's going to go.
Yeah. Okay. So last question, because
Sure.
we've nearly been an hour, which that's gone very, very quickly. So we haven't got it through as many as I would have hoped.
You're not a very good interviewer then, are you?
Obviously not.
It's your responsibility to do that. By the way, if you want to, you can rate Karuna.
Yeah.
She's going to love that. Yeah. She's going to really love that.
Maybe they might want to rate you.
Oh,
considering it's Ask Andrew anything, not Ask Karuna or anything.
Yeah, you can rate me too.
Yeah.
Go on, yeah.
So
just rate me higher than Karuna and I don't mind. Yeah.
So number 21 is Mel C.
Yeah.
What is the point of listing a property with no asking price? As a potential buyer this makes me just move on to the next listing.
I don't know either. I think it's not really that good. I mean, the only reason, look, we know from our dealings that price is an attractor to people. The only problem is if your price is too dear, it'll actually deter people as well. So some people, including our guys, sometimes don't put a price on. If you're not putting a price on and you're auctioning your place, I get that. Yeah, of course you're not going to put a price on there, but you want to see what the market's going to do.
And you are creating a deadline.
And you're creating a deadline. So there are a lot of benefits that go with auctioning your house, and we don't have the time now to go through them all. I do believe in the auction system. There's no doubt about that. Personally, I sold most of my houses with private treaty, and that's just because I'm probably a bit old school when it comes to that. But we have a lot of success with auction. So I'm not pro auction or pro private treaty. But whether you've got an auction or a tender, I can understand not having a price. But actually just putting it to market with no price, we do know you preclude a lot of buyers because they don't know what price range it's in.
Yeah.
One of the benefits of these days of having no price is it usually gets landed on realestate.com, and most people are smart enough now, they'll play around with the price ranges until they get the price. Right. So you really can't hide the price anyway.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be advocating not putting a price on, because you really, to use Karuna's word, piss a lot of buyers off because there's no, unless you're auctioning or you're tendering, you piss a lot of buyers off because they want to know feedback on where the house is
as
before
Mel
they go.
said, here, just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
And sorry, you've got to remember, you're going to make your property appeal to every buyer in the market.
Yeah.
And, for those of you a little bit older, you'd remember going on the Courier Mail on a Saturday and circling ones and crossing ones off. You're actually trying to limit the houses you've got. So you remember, a buyer's looking at it from the other aspect. They're trying to limit as many out of their
they want to go
wish
through
list
as
as
least
possible.
open homes as possible
Very
on
much.
a Saturday.
So if it doesn't have a house, there's a good chance they're just going to put a line through it and keep going. And you
It
don't
doesn't
want
have
that.
a price, yeah.
If it doesn't have a price.
Yeah.
Or a reason, like an auction or a tender, not to have a price.
Yeah, exactly. So we've obviously got through 21 tonight. As I said at the beginning, we will get back to all of you by the end of the week from Andrew. If you do have any further questions or you want any other answers on the questions that you had tonight, please email Andrew at andrew.coronis@coronis.com.au. We do want to do these more regularly, and we want to make sure that you get to speak to our property manager director, our sales director and our finance director, so that you can ask specific questions to them. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight, and I hope that it's got you the answers that you needed, and onwards and upwards to growing our client communication with you guys and been a progressive company with what we're doing here. So is there anything you wanted to add to
No,
that?
we're on a march to get to 50 offices. I said that years ago. Because I believe we offer better service industry than our competitors, and I'm very proud of that fact. And I want to help as many people as possible. It's a passion of mine. We've got a young brigade of people coming through now, like Karuna, who are adding who have matured now to an incredible level of adding value to our business. I thank you so much for listening to this and adding the questions, because it helps us learn. Again, we're not the best yet, but we're working on it. And if you know my nature, I don't stop until we're there. That's what we do, and sometimes that pisses a lot of people. I'm using Karuna's word again. That pisses a lot of people off, because I can be quite frustrating to people. But without you, our clients, we're nothing.
Right.
We get it. So if you've got a problem, put your hand up and we'll fix it. We'll promise you that. 100%.
And get onto the live chat instantaneously. We want to make sure that people get back to you ASAP, and we know about any of those things so we can fix them straight away. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Karuna.
Thanks once again. Have a great night.
Bye.